We are taught a specific timeline. First, an empty universe exploded in the Big Bang. Over billions of years, it cooled to form physical matter, which eventually sparked biology, and finally, consciousness. But that entire model is breaking down. When modern physicists run the numbers through our most advanced supercomputers, they find that the universe does not look like a random accident. It looks deliberately initialized. We see this in the impossible fine-tuning of universal constants. Altering an electron's mass by a fraction of a percent prevents atoms from forming. In string theory, physicists discovered literal error-correcting codes, binary structures that keep web browsers from crashing. A blind explosion does not leave behind information integrity protocols. The data suggests that reality behaves like a highly engineered computational system. These discoveries lead physicists like Sir Roger Penrose and tech pioneer Federico Faggin to a necessary logical inversion. They argue that because information and mathematical code require an observer to translate them into meaning, consciousness cannot be a late arrival produced by matter. Instead, matter must be the output of a foundational, pre-existing field of consciousness. In this model, the universe is a holistic quantum field. Space-time is an emergent interface, a physical language the universe uses to communicate. Observation drives this. Awareness forces a field of probabilities to collapse into a solid reality. Humans are simply not accidental biological products. We are localizations of the universe, observing its own potential into existence. We are currently trying to act as architects ourselves, attempting to build artificial intelligence entirely within this physical interface. But Federico Faggin points out a strict limitation in how we construct these systems. Classical computers operate exclusively on rigid binary codes, the dead manipulation of ones and zeros. Silicon processors can copy, move, and structure data through algorithms with perfect precision. They can simulate logic, but they lack the capacity to generate meaning. A machine can generate a sentence, but it does not feel the truth of what it has written. AI is a powerful golem. It processes data flawlessly, but it is permanently bound to the rules of the interface. It lacks the analog quantum resonance required for true subjective experience. Our fixation on mechanical logic treats the natural world as a collection of dead parts, a worldview that is now blinding us to how nature actually functions. Dr. Yogi Hendlin warns that clearing an ancient ecosystem severs deep, invisible networks of communication. We are dismantling a semiotic relationship, a coordination of signs and meanings that has operated for millennia. We saw the cost of this blindness during the 2004 tsunami. While human instruments detected nothing, elephants on the coastal zones sensed the environmental signals hours before the impact and fled to the hills. They were operating on a wider sensory frequency that our machines could even register. Hendlin notes that ecocide is semiocide, the killing of meaning. By treating the world as a dead resource, we destroy the universe's ability to communicate with itself through us. If we are part of a deeply connected quantum field, why do we perceive ourselves as isolated and separate? Donald Hoffman's interface theory suggests reality is actively hidden from us, echoing the ancient Gnostic concept of the monad, an undivided ground of reality that exists before our minds fracture it into pieces. Evolution gifted us an Umwelt, a species-specific sensory dashboard. This interface was designed strictly for survival, not for seeing the objective truth of the field. Our brains use predictive networks to filter out the overwhelming truth of the foundational field. They render a simplified story, defining what counts as real and what we are allowed to register. These biological filters successfully trap our awareness in a bottleneck. We mistake the dashboard for reality and the icons for the things themselves. Breaking this filter requires us to intentionally widen our sensory aperture. We must overlap our isolated dashboard with the living, semiotic world we have ignored. Practices that reconnect us to nature disrupt the brain's default predictive networks. By dismantling our rigid intellectual models, we allow the sensory data of the field to wash over us once again. This reveals the ultimate flip in our origin story. You are not the accidental end product of a dead universe's evolution. The physical body is an instrument, a local avatar the universe uses to experience the full range of its own internal states. You are the architect of the reality you inhabit, collapsing probabilities and observing the universe into being.